My dear students of class 8A and 8B, today I am going to teach you the lesson number 6, Decline of the Mughals and Rise of Independent Kingdoms. Open at page number 61. From today I am teaching about this point, rise of independent kingdoms, independent and regional kingdoms. Open at page 61. Rise of independent and regional kingdoms. Rise of independent and regional kingdoms. And the state Bengal. I am going to explain you. You know, the disintegration of the Mughal Empire created an atmosphere throughout the country. Some of the important states of India, they declared themselves independent. Out of it, 3 important states of India, 3 largest kingdoms of India became out and out independent. They were Bengal, Ayodhya and Hyderabad. Bengal, Ayodhya and Hyderabad. Now, today I am going to discuss about Bengal, our state, Bengal. Bengal, during the time when Mughal Empire was disintegrated, Bengal's governor was Murshid Quli Khan. Murshid Quli Khan realized that it was the right time, by taking advantage of the weakness of the Mughal ruler, he must declare his states to be independent, and ultimately the other states also followed the pathway of Murshid Quli. They also, in course of time, declared themselves to be independent. As a Diwan of Bengal, Murshid Quli took the advantage of the weakness of the Mughals. In the year 1717, he declared his state as independent one. In this book it is written, he shifted his capital from Dhaka to Murshidabad. But it was not mentioned in this book under which circumstances had he shifted his capital from Dhaka to Murshidabad. I am telling you, the time when Aurangzeb sent Murshid Quli as the Diwan of Bengal, that time the capital of Bengal was Dhaka. And another one means and a grandson of Aurangzeb was there, Azimus Shah. Azimus Shah was the grandson of Aurangzeb. He also was there at Dhaka. But Murshid Quli was sent as the Diwan of Bengal, and on the other, Azimus Shah was the grandson of Aurangzeb. So naturally there was a contradiction, a tussle between the grandson of Aurangzeb, Azimus Shah, and Diwan of Bengal, Murshid Quli Khan. Murshid Quli Khan from the very beginning had a natural tendency to protest some cases which usually harmed his sentiments. It was only Azimus Shah, the grandson of Aurangzeb, insulted Murshid Quli Khan. So Murshid Quli Khan requested Aurangzeb either he would be there or his grandson Azimus Shah. Under such circumstances, Aurangzeb asked Murshid Quli whether he could find out any solution. If he was able to find out any solution, Aurangzeb would support it morally. Aurangzeb would recognize his decision, accept his decision. So, Murshid Quli was very intelligent. Immediately he found out one idea and requested Aurangzeb, Mughal emperor, to accept his decision. What was about his decision? He decided to shift his capital from Dhaka to Murshidabad so that he could work independently without any interference of his son-in-law, Azimussa. On hearing the request of Murshid Quli, Aurangzeb granted it and allowed him to shift his capital from Dhaka to Murshidabad. So right that moment, Murshid Quli shifted his capital from Dhaka to Murshidabad. Murshidabad became the capital of Bengal right that moment. And he started working independently without the interference of his grandson, Azimussa. So this is the history of shifting capital from Dhaka to Murshidabad by Murshid Quli Khan. Though Murshid Quli Khan freed himself from the control of the Mughal Empire after the death of Aurangzeb, he maintained a peaceful relations with the Mughals or Mughal rulers and succeeded in bringing prosperity to the province Bengal. He was succeeded by his son-in-law Sujauddin Khan. Murshid Quli Khan, it is said that had only one daughter also and one son, but son was given death sentence by Murshid Quli himself, because it is said there was a rumor that at the time of sending the taxes, means khazana from khazana of Murshidabad or Bengal for Aurangzeb in Delhi. Who was in charge of it? Murshid Quli's son was in charge of carrying the khazana from Murshidabad to Delhi. So on the way, one blind man, means one blind beggar, requested him to give him one gold coin. But Murshid Quli's son was very much kind-hearted person. He donated him one gold coin from the khazana. Out of the khazana, he was supposed to be handed over to Emperor Aurangzeb at Delhi. But Aurangzeb, while counting the number of gold coins, he found only one coin was less. What was about it? He asked. His son replied the fact, but Aurangzeb was not satisfied with his answer. On hearing the answer, Murshid Quli grew very much offended, because he was very much strict in his principle. Without his instruction, he took that decision and gifted that gold coin. So Murshid Quli felt insulted and ordered his men to kill his son. So he was given death sentence. And another daughter also was there of Murshid Quli. Who was she? The daughter, she had a habit of killing, child. And by killing one child, he cooked the heart of that child and ate it. And whenever Sujauddin, that time Sujauddin Khan, son-in-law Murshid Quli, had become the Nawab of Bengal, Bihar and Orissa. On hearing the news, Sujauddin ordered his men to bury him alive. And so she was buried beside the Mohimapur Fari at Lalbagh, Murshidabad. She was the daughter of Murshid Quli Khan. And that's why she was known as in Hindi Kalija Khaki Begum. Anyway, so Murshid Quli had no issue. That's why his son-in-law Sujauddin Khan ascended the throne. Sujauddin Khan was the patronizer of art, architecture, style, and patronized so many poets, so many writers, And hence, during his time, the glory and image of Bengal, Bihar and Orissa reached to its highest extent. After the death of Sujauddin, another one became the Nawab of Bengal, Bihar and Orissa. Who was he? He was his son, Sarfaraz Khan. But Sarfaraz Khan was not as efficient as his grandfather and his father was there. Both of them, his grandfather Mushrid Quli Khan and his father Sujauddin Khan, both of them were efficient, efficient and very well skilled administrator and ruler. But he had no efficiency, he had no skill, but he always spent his time during the time of Rang Mahal in allowing the dancer of different places like Lucknow, Allahabad to dance on the floor of the Rang Mahal. And he spent his time, he spent a lot of money by way of using throwing the money on the floor in the Rang Mahal. So he led a very luxurious life, but he was very much careless of the matters, careless of the people, and this carelessness resulted in disintegration and defeat. Immediately, he was challenged by the governor of Patna, Alivardi Khan, who was appointed governor of Patna by his father, Sujauddin Khan. That very governor of Patna challenged his authority and declared war against him. There was a battle between Sarfaraz Khan and Sarfaraz Khan and Alivardi Khan at Giriya field. In the Giriya battlefield, both of them fought against each other, but Alivardi Khan defeated and killed Sarfaraz Khan. So, Sarfaraz Khan was killed at the time when his mosque, Putti Mosque, was under construction. The construction was going on. It is still left incompleted, the Putti Masjid at Lal Bagh. If you go there, you must see the Putti Masjid, which was about to be constructed, but it was not completed because of the sudden death of Sarfaraz Khan, the son of Sujauddin Khan. So, after defeating and killing Sarfaraz Khan, Alivardi Khan became the Nawab of Bengal, Bihar and Odisha. Alivardi became the Nawab of Bengal, Bihar and Odisha. So Bengal became a center of trade and commerce. Bengal was, from the very, very beginning a rich state of India, rich province of India. Alivardi, whatever Nawabs came, the Nawabs who came to power in Bengal, out of them Alivardi was one of the efficient Nawabs of Bengal, Bihar and Odisha. During his rule, there was no discontency. Most of the people were happy, rich and prosperous because there was agricultural development in the growth of education, development in the field of cultural upliftment. Everywhere there was development because of the technique and method Alivardi adapted. Alivardi Khan realized that establishing a good relationship with the European traders who started to come to our country to trade with us should be strengthened. That's why the relationship between European traders was strengthened. And at the time when Alivardi also realized it that some of the Europeans, like the British, wanted not to trade with India, our country, but to interfere to internal politics of our country. That's why at the time on the eve of his death, when he was about to leave his last breath, he suggested his grandson Sirajuddaulah not to allow the British traders to be a part of the state, but only they should be treated as only the traders, but not as a part of internal politics of our state. Alivardi's death, after the death of Alivardi, when his grandson Sirajuddaula ascended the throne, he strictly followed the suggestion of his grandfather Alivardi and did not allow the Britishers to continue trade without paying taxes and revenues. But the relationship between the Europeans, especially the British and Sirajuddaula, also was not improved, but relationship between the two sides, Nawab and British traders, was strained, and that's why there was a corruption everywhere during the rule of Sirajuddaula. Corruption, conspiracy was going on. They were the nobles, bureaucrats. They were plotting against Nawab Sirajuddaula because of the British. The British won over the Nawabs, bureaucrats, nobles, and hence Sirajuddaula could not find out. Sirajuddaula could not find out any solution through which the process of this kind of act of plotting should be immediately stopped. That's why a battle was inevitable between Nawab Sirajuddaula and the British. In the year 1757, Nawab Sirajuddaula declared war against British East India Company. In the Battle of Plassey, both of them met, but due to bad weather, due to uncovered, Sora. What is Sora? Sora is the item which was used in the cannon. Inside it was filled in. It was filled in the cannon, and then the cannon was used. The cannon was opened with fire and targeted the enemies. This is known as Sora. So the masala means Sora of cannon. It was uncovered. There was none to notice that their Soras were covered. It was overcast. There was a drizzling. The time when the battle between Nawab Sirajuddaula and British East India Company was going on, due to drizzling, due to this atmosphere, the Britishers were very careful. They duly covered their Soras, but Sirajuddaula, there was none to look after it. So the Soras of Sirajuddaula had become wet, and it was of no use. So all the cannons left vacant. These cannons were of no use. No one was able to attack the British soldiers. And Sirajuddaula had at least 60 cannons. On the other hand, the British had only 12 or maximum 10 to 12 cannons. 10 to 12 cannons. But each and every cannon was working properly and effectively, and killed and were killing. Cannons were killing huge numbers of Nawabi soldiers. But the British, only because of their sincerity, their carefulness, their Soras were there duly covered with polythene sheets. But Sirajuddaula's army, Sirajuddaula's men could not notice it. So the Soras of Sirajuddaula was of no use, and Sirajuddaula, my dear students, was defeated. Moreover, ineffectiveness of Mirzapur, the military commander under the army of Sirajuddaula, the military commander, Mirzapur was standing titular. There was none to ask him, but Sirajuddaula sent one slip and asked Mirzapur to fight against the British, but still there was no repercussion. There was no reaction. in the habit, in the nature of Mirzapur, he was just standing, just like, just like a toy, and all the soldiers under him. There were a number of 10,000 soldiers. They all were standing, just like toys, and by this way, the British East India Company owned the battle. Sirajuddaulah was forced to leave the battlefield, and then and there, the Mirzapur and his soldiers declared the Britishers to be the winner of the battle, and Mirzapur in the battlefield of Plassey was declared the next Nawab of Bengal, Bihar and Odisha by military colonel of the British East India Company, Robert Clive. Next day, I shall discuss about Ayodhya. Today, Bengal, the teaching of Bengal is completed. Next day, I shall discuss about Ayodhya, my dear students. Thank you.